Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So our next day is from the Katia family, and he said, so black culture is a problem. The most Sowell on the correct black culture in America. Let's hear what the Katia family have to say about this, because I know they are also black. So let's hear what they have to say against their own culture, or if they agree or disagree with Thomas Sowell. Let's check it out.
So, bro, I know Chicago Loyola D1, but I don't think that one is.
University of Chicago.
I got no idea.
I don't even know what they look like, bro.
It's green. It's green and
I
white.
definitely don't.
We might be talking about a different one. This one, maroon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think you might be talking about.
I'm talking about Chicago State.
Yeah.
They D what? That's crazy. I
They
know
D3.
no colleges in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, because my cousin playing football. He played football for them.
I was talking about this school right here, Chicago State. Yeah, it's green and white.
Yeah, I was going to say.
What's that school that's real smart? MIT?
Yeah, that's in Massachusetts.
What's the biggest school in Chicago?
Northwestern.
Oh, is that bigger than Illinois?
Illinois might be bigger. Yeah, Illinois, because everybody go there. Man, let's tap in the bro.
All right,
yeah, let's tap it. We rambling.
Told you, I was going to say, it's not Ivy League.
We always
go
do,
to that bit.
When I grew up in Harlem in the 40s, when I grew up in Harlem in the 40s and 50s, I never heard a gunshot.
That sound like Charles.
Thomas Sowell.
That is crazy.
I would love to hear his intellect.
Well, let me read what you say in your preface. You say, "Let me state here, and now that these essays do not mean 1, all Southern whites were or are rednecks; 2, all black Americans today or in the past were or are black rednecks. One cannot predict, you write, much less forestall all the clever misinterpretations that others might put on one's words. The most that can be done is to alert honest people to the problem. Black rednecks, who are they?"
These would be blacks who came out of the Southern culture and who carried that culture with them north into the urban ghettos and into the ghettos of the South, for that matter, and who have not moved out of that culture since. Over the years, both blacks and whites have moved away from that culture. But in the poorest and worst of the ghetto areas, there are lots of people who have not. And these it's a culture which didn't do whites any good, and it's certainly not doing blacks any good today. And the tragedy is that people regard this culture as somehow the authentic black culture, and therefore you're not to interfere with it.
I'm proud to be a bartender. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I don't feel no ways tired.
She's serious?
Too far.
God,
From
look at
where
those
I
countries.
started from.
Black English is considered not quite proper English. On the other hand, if blacks happen to have all the power and own all the corporations and whites were working for them, it would be the other way around.
There was a period, I'm trying to remember now, I believe it was in the mid-70s. Substandard English began to become viewed as a...
Back them up. I ain't gonna lie. We gotta hear that again.
This a white man said this.
From where I started from.
Black English is considered not quite proper English. On the other hand, if blacks happen to have all the power and own all the corporations and whites were working for them, it would be the other way around.
There was a period, I'm trying to remember now, I believe it was in the mid-70s when substandard English began to become viewed as a discipline of its own within linguistic studies and so forth. And for all I know, it was all perfectly legitimate that certain speech patterns would be traced back to various regions in Africa and so forth. And this is a language of its own. It has its own validity. But your argument would be, I don't really care what its validity is. It's holding people back. It's preventing them from participating.
So what is it talking about? Talking about like using like.
But he said from Africa though.
He was looking to see if.
Yeah,
he's saying like it has validity in it.
So
like,
when
it's a real language.
So when they say, man, y'all ain't know what's going on.
No, he was saying it doesn't. It's
no,
like they start saying it in America.
Yeah.
God dang.
I know what he was saying is he's saying like that language itself has its own validity to it, and he was saying like that particular language actually doesn't, and it's holding us back. That makes sense. And the white guy was saying like that. You know what I'm saying? He feels as though it does, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what
how y'all feel? Y'all feel like that talking?
Let's run it back and then.
I think it makes you sound
stupid.
It would be traced back to various regions in Africa and so forth.
Stupid.
And this is a language of its own. It has its own validity. But your argument would be, I don't really care what its validity is. It's holding people back. It's preventing them from participating in the wider society. Is that right?
Absolutely. And also, none of these things went back to Africa.
Oh, is that so?
No. You can. Yes, they did not go back to Africa. If you look at the peace, for example, using the word axe for ask and stuff like that, all of that goes back to the South, and it goes back to the parts of Britain from which white Southerners came. So if you trace calling hog entrails chitlins, that was in a certain section of Britain, the section from which whites moved into the South, and they were known as rednecks and crackers in Britain in centuries past before they ever set foot in the South. So the whole thing is as phony as the $3 bill.
In Intellectuals and Race, you cite an observation by the intelligence expert, IQ scientist James Flynn, that just stopped me cold. After the Second World War, you've got large numbers of American troops remaining in Germany. For that matter, there's still several tens of thousands there today. And both black and white American soldiers had children with German women. And Flynn discovered that those children growing up in Germany showed no IQ differences at all. The black kid.
Guys, it's just so very refreshing to see young men. When I mean young men, young, able, capable men. Are you seeing them? Wow, their sons so huge. Especially the first one that is wearing, is it black hoodies and a navy blue shorts. At this side, like they're having healthy conversations about society and questioning what they know and whether it's hinder or help them grow. Wow. To continue to strive for the better. Like, and guys, okay, let's continue watching this movie because I'm not even seeing them arguing, shouting out on top of themselves. No. Oh my God.
See it as our original black culture.
Yeah.
That's why when people try to attack it, they be like, no, that's black culture. He's saying they try to see that as our original culture. That's why we use that in our culture. And he said that's what's holding black people back.
Yeah.
So what are you saying about Germany? Like they didn't have the power.
He said in Germany, he's saying in Germany they don't have that. Like so there's no niggas in the hood in Germany.
So I was tweaking about the classism.
Yeah, it's not classism at all.
So it's more of a cultural thing.
Yeah,
exactly. So where it's not accepted, those same black kids don't act that way.
Yeah, because they don't see it. They don't have that. They don't have that to go off.
I think it's the same thing.
But here, you got rappers and all the prominent black figures that promote that. Well, I won't say.
Now with the internet though, they see it.
Yeah,
they see it way worse.
Everywhere. Yeah,
it's worse.
They be influenced.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's very interesting.
I guess what leads me to wonder if that isn't, because I guess I'm under the assumption that is our culture, right? So if that isn't our culture, what is our true culture then?
Well, I mean,
what would be our?
I mean, you know,
because as far as we've known it, that is our culture.
Well, to be honest with you,
I don't know that as my culture.
in the 60s, in the 70s, it was not.
So let me ask you, how would you describe what black culture is?
Bro, it's like things like that uplift us, like black, like
I say African type.
Yeah,
think
bro.
about
I would say
African American culture.
I don't think that is black culture. Like when people say, "Oh, that's how we supposed to act and acting black," I think that's negative to us to say that ignorant behavior is acting black. That means when you say acting black, you think of something negative. So when acting black is negative. So when you say that to me, it's negative. So that being our culture is negative. So I don't see that as our culture. To me, like our black culture is things like
art,
positive stuff, art, like people on TV,
the jazz music,
that's all types of stuff like that.
Culture, black people did kind of
soul
train,
work positive stuff. To say that,
that's what I was referring to as our subculture. Like I was referring to that too. I was like, even if the things that you guys mentioned, if you take that away, what would be? But aside from all the killings and stuff,
I mean, bro, black people have invented stuff, all types of stuff. Like to say that that's black culture, I don't agree with that.
I think we just too far gone. We just know it. You got the directors doing the toxic movies on top of that for black people.
They love it though.
But the sad part is, I don't think it's the fact that the director's fault. I think it's the audience fault. That makes sense. Like I think they're doing based off demand. They're selling that based off because it sells. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. Like, they wouldn't make that type of stuff. It's not that they're trying to push an agenda. I think that the audience like that. So
I think that they probably like it because it's a movie with all black actors and all black roles. So they're like, wow, let's go watch this. So they support it, and that's just the type of stuff that's popular with good actors that are black and people. Yeah, exactly. So you like, Janet Jackson's in this movie, and it's Why Did I Get Married, and it's a whole bunch of negative shit. But people went to go see it because Janet Jackson's in it, and Tyler Perry's name's on it, so they went to go see it, and it's just perpetuating that negative stuff. So I mean, like, if you put that in a positive movie where she's the lead, I'm sure black people will come in droves to see that too.
I think it's Pursuit Happiness. But nah, in the beginning, I felt bad for Will. His bitch left him in the child though, bro. Messed up. He should brought up that movie, bro.
The culture in which they grew up was not the culture in which black kids grew up in America today.
So there's
no gangster rap. That was pervasively available in Germany.
It is now.
So here's what I'm getting. There is something about black subculture in America today that holds African Americans themselves back?
Yes, because that very same subculture held whites in the South back as well. That in the time this mental testing in the First World War turned up, among other things, the fact that whites from various 4 or 5 southern states scored lower on the mental test than blacks from 4 or 5 northern states. And so it really was a question of the subculture that was there, which was a handicap to both.
Moved up north.
I could go on for days about the social degeneration, but let me give you just one quick example. When I grew up in Harlem in the 40s and 50s, I never heard a gunshot. Now, I'm sure someone fired a gun somewhere in Harlem, but it was not such a pervasive thing that you had to hear it. You know, I have relatives in Washington. I asked them the same question. People of my generation.
Growing up in Washington, D.C.
Yes, and low-income black neighborhoods. Did you ever hear a gunshot when you were growing up? And the answer was no. I have relatives in North Carolina. I asked the same question. No. And now, you know, people in housing projects especially, they put kids, some of them, to bed in bathtubs so that they won't be hit by stray bullets in the night. Now we take it for granted that there's crimes, tremendous levels of crime and violence in the black community. That was not always the case. In the 20s, it was very common for white celebrities, including George Gershwin and William Faulkner, to go up to Harlem not only for entertainment places, but to go into private homes of people they knew. And Gershwin played Rhapsody in Blue in this home where Walter White lived. Milton Friedman, when he was a graduate student at Columbia, he and the lady he later married would go dancing at the Savoy Ballroom in Harlem. And he said, we had no fear of being mugged or accosted on the street or anything like that.
I've heard you say, Tom, when you were a boy growing up in Harlem yourself, your own neighborhood felt totally safe to you.
Not totally safe. I wouldn't exaggerate, but it's nothing resembling today. I mean, I did sleep on hot nights. I would sleep out on the fire escape. When I tell people in Harlem that today, they think I'm from another galaxy, you know. But that people slept on the fire escapes in New York and in the public parks in the 30s, all over the city, because it was not a jungle. You could run through a great number of other things. Children raised without 2 parents present. That was about 22% in 1960. One generation later, it was 67%. And it's gone up a little since then as well. And now the rate among whites is higher than it was among blacks in 1960.
Right. Dang. Blunt blowing, polo draw showing.
I take responsibility.
It's your fault.
I think this shit is stupid as hell.
Responsibility.
What the hell?
This is that Black Lives Matter shit.
Man, turn this shit off, man.
Hold on, man. Let it run.
I take responsibility.
From Breaking Bad. That's Cash Out.
Responsibility. Black people are being slaughtered in the streets, killed in their own homes. These are our brothers and sisters, our friends, our family. We are done watching them die.
How do you define a white liberal?
Those kinds of people who have the kinds of attitudes that are called liberal in the United States, although the word is misused, those people have created an atmosphere in which these counterproductive cultures are to be celebrated, perpetuated,
but he's liberal,
and the consequences overlooked. It reminds me of a scene in the Blue Max where this general is encouraging this daredevil pilot to do all kinds of wild stunts, you see, knowing that the guy's going to kill himself if he keeps doing this, and therefore the general rid of a political problem. Now, I don't think that the white liberals are doing this deliberately, but I think the net result is also the same. They are cheering blacks on and doing things that are absolutely self-destructive.
Damn.
I agree.
Can we pause?
One of these.
So, Brandon, I want to ask you a question, right?
So what's up?
So oftentimes you would say that we got to get out of this victim mindset, right? That how blacks, we often blame, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're the problem, right? We got to stop blaming the white man for that. But based on what he said, does that change your mindset in the sense of, like, that it's white liberals causing the harm?
I mean, they kind of like, they're not really causing the harm because they're also perpetuating that victim mindset, as you just heard. That's my Black Lives Matter video, them in support of black. I'm sorry, it's our fault. What?
Yeah.
Now they're saying it's our fault that you're a victim.
Yeah.
We're not victims, bro.
Like the white liberals, the people who like
promoting.
Yes, the white liberals are the ones saying BLM. They're the ones saying all cops are bad. That's promoting that victimhood mentality.
So that's what I'm asking.
I'm not going to put that on them, but they're also enabling that victim mentality.
Okay, so you see
they're also enabling it.
Okay.
Like a white liberal will tell you, oh, you're a victim. You have it harder because of your skin. They'll tell you that shit. It's brainwashing you, bro. It's not. I mean, it may be true in some cases, you know, but to say that to all black people,
I do not agree with that message.
Yeah, like it's just bull. And they're making a video. What is that saving?
That was cringe.
It was cringe.
Yeah, bro. What are you sorry for?
During COVID,
I don't know you.
So are they talking about police brutality on that?
Yes, that was a BLM. That was a BLM video. That was an example of white liberals, though. Yeah. So to me, I think
good point, Brandon.
Discovering the research for my self-destruct.
See, and guys, I love the conversation. I just really love this conversation that these people are just conversing. Hi, that's what I'm just talking about. I mean to say, sorry. They have dominant black cultures and various subcultures within the black communities. But guys, I think they need to denounce the current dominance of hip-hop music and the rest of them, or most of the things that are bringing bad negativity, and elevate the positive ones. I just think so. To me, I just think so. It took go that way. Let's continue watching this video.
That don't help the people, but help the leaders.
What you create there would be an exception for Dr. King, though, wouldn't there?
Yes, but he
was different because he was earliest, or what? Why? What's different about it?
It's like insurgent movements in general. When an insurgency starts off, by definition, it has an uphill battle. Now, and you can look at the history of Christianity, for heaven's sake. Okay. If you're going to be a Christian in the Roman Empire, you know, and before in the first century, you had a lot of grief to go through.
Yeah.
Now, but after Christianity becomes the official religion of the Roman Empire, this is a bonanza, and there's a lot to be done. And so now you will follow policies that are the opposite of what you advocated. You will see that with all kinds of other insurgent movements.
Somewhere, watching this interview, there's a young Thomas Sowell. There's an African American who's smart and wants to do something with his life. It seems to me we've already got one piece of advice you'd offer to him is stay away from the racist industry. Stay away from the race hustlers. What advice would you give a young Thomas Sowell? How do you make something of yourself as an African American in America today?
The way anybody else would. You equip yourself with skills that people are willing to pay for.
I like that. I like that.
All right, so yeah.
I like
thoughts.
Can I readdress what you said? You said, what's black culture if not the subculture? You know, things like Harriet Tubman and Thurgood Marshall, and what's that one, Booker T. Washington, people like that, you know?
I think you might have misunderstood my question. Not more so like our original culture. I'm saying in present day today, right?
I'm just saying,
how would we define black culture?
You know what I'm saying? But we're celebrating that old culture. When we look at the history of our people, we need to celebrate black people who invented things, leaders, educators, people that have innovated, like the first black people to do things. We need to celebrate people like that because they showed us that it's possible for us to succeed in these spaces, and we need to celebrate things like that and push that forward. But instead, we're pushing the subculture forward, putting people like Meek Mill to speak for black people. Meek Mill raps about his youngins being mass matched up for Corona. He been jailed. We don't need speed for us, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess
he's
my
not even
question,
smart.
Every
if you ask
nigga
me.
said swear they felt that bar.
So let me ask you this, I guess. So you're saying the subculture, so not what it should be, right? Whereas like what black culture is today, right? If it wasn't that, that's why I was wondering, like, what is black culture, like, aside from that? Like, what would it be? That's what I'm saying, because I think it's perpetuated to us. I think all of us,
But I mean,
at least I was under the assumption that was.
What is white people's culture? They don't have one.
Well, I mean, we can say that, but you know, white people they're like.
I mean, well, now
you can be white people.
Yeah. There could be a.
You know,
and like you said, there's redneck
I'll tell you what white culture is. You know,
pick
the
up
polo shirts, the short shorts, the suburb type dude.
But like,
that's what I think of when I think of white.
And then there's
people.
the redneck white.
Yeah, there's different. You know, there's different type. And
then there's the California whites.
There's all, you know.
Yeah, there's all type of whites.
Yeah, but that's their culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you were black and you go put that on, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you dressing like a white boy. You think you white?" So. That's what you identify as white. And then if a white person put on some Jordans and sag his pants,
and that
what is the
you're
definition
black.
of culture?
You know what I'm saying?
It's a culture.
Look, I want
ideology.
Things that you do, like
like a certain set place, like the way of life in a certain set place.
That's what y'all do.
So culture is like the trends and the way of life in a certain set place. So it's
it
like
is the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. So basically, just like things
rap
like
is our culture, bro. It's arts. It's music.
That's the definition of culture now. So basically, that to me means it says intellectual achievement regarded collectively. So that just means things that people do collectively.
Yeah.
So like big groups do collectively.
Yeah.
It's like a tradition.
So
like, this is what we do.
The New Orleans culture, the Houston culture, the OKC culture.
So country clubs,
I guess
and all that.
Like customs,
that's white
architecture
culture.
style, social standards, and traditions that of this particular set.
Yeah, our shit
but
fucked up.
But black people have so many different cultures because it is black people that.
Yeah.
What you mean, bro?
And that's what my.
You gotta look at that. Like,
but they also have white people that come into our culture. So it's
that
like
was
what
my
you choose.
question, and I think I didn't explain it right. If we take away the whole Pusha, that negative culture, right? In present day, in 2023, what is it? How would you define black culture?
I know.
We're all be together,
we're
bro. We're all
regular
be a
people
unit,
like everybody
bro.
else. We just have to we have to define what black culture is.
Yeah.
That is what we're choosing to be our culture. So if we take that out, we just celebrate the black people that don't do that stuff. Like black people that's doing good things, like Michael B. Jordan. He's a big face. What's the other dude that's in that movie with him?
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors. Like, bro, people like him, Denzel,
LeBron.
LeBron. Like, we just uplift people like that. They're trying to rebuild our community and show that young black men that there's other things than that. That's what we need to put forward in the forefront as our leaders and our speakers.
I agree with that.
And we don't need race hustlers. I'm
gonna keep it honey. I might say I'm an asshole, but I don't feel like we should have an athlete be a spokesperson for us.
I mean, still though, LeBron is more than an athlete.
That's what I'm saying, though.
He's a community activist.
He can.
Like he's a billionaire.
My point is,
he built
everybody
schools in his community, send his kids to college. Like,
what makes him not qualified?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Like, you gonna choose?
So like we gonna choose art actresses, rappers.
I just said not rappers.
You mean not rappers? Actresses.
What I'm saying is, bro, you can
but you gotta think.
Entertainment.
Okay. I'm just saying that's who I use as an example. There's other black people we can use, but I'm just using them as an example of prominent black figures that are doing good things. Yeah, that's what young people can strive for. That's just something I was saying. Like, we don't need more rappers.
All we're saying is, black people can do good things. Because I feel like everybody chooses their own culture. Because white people is different cultures. It's the suit up tie. It's some duck hunting boys. It's all type of things you can get into. So choose the right culture. It's not. We can't be one thing. We can't be just one.
We have to look at this as a mass culture. The subculture is 100% holding us back.
Yeah.
100%.
And what I was saying
that is the number one.
But we can't just say white people are. You know what I'm saying? Or good culture, because it's not like people.
We're not though. But as I'm saying though, as black people have to decide what our culture is going to be. The black subculture that black people at a what's the word I'm looking for? At a large number are adopting as our culture and deciding to follow is the number one detrimental thing to black people.
Yes,
black people, like young black men, will walk around in big groups, sagging their pants, looking suspicious, and then get, the police are racist for following niggas. You look suspicious.
Yes.
You look like someone.
I feel like that's the majority of black people. That's the majority of black people.
I won't say I won't say it's the majority, but I said there is a good majority of people that decide to follow that. When something, they do these things that are indicative of someone that has committed crimes or do bad things, and when they're profiled as that, it's racist.
Yes.
Bro, I understand, but you have to to realize, like if you weren't doing that thing or doing that, you will be okay.
Yeah. And to Brandon's point, I was saying
what
that
they see the people in front of them do.
Yeah, and what I was saying, I think to Brandon's point, what I was trying to say is, I think that like that culture has led a misconception of what is black culture.
Yeah, that's
right. And I was wondering, I said, well, and that's what I was saying, like if we take that away today, what would be black culture? Because I think that has given even black people in other cultures the misconception that is our present culture. Like
my problem is My problem is
and that was my question was, how do y'all feel?
All them different countries. All of them have different cultures, bro. Everybody in Africa have different cultures.
Bro, but listen.
We're not all one.
No, that's the whole point, bro. Listen. Before you say something, let me say something.
We're not one.
Let me tell you something. That is where the subculture comes from. When they brought us over here as slaves, us having ties to Africa is gone. That's why when we were in slavery, that was our culture. Once we got out, we went to the hood, the poor neighborhoods with the white rednecks and adopted that culture. Then he said in the video, the whites left because they realized it was not serving them good. We stayed.
Yeah.
That's why the original black people that come up now, that came from that, see that as the original black culture. That's why it grew. He's saying that subculture of the black people that stayed in that and kept that culture alive is what's holding us back today. Yeah, that is what he's saying. So when you start to say like Africa, that has nothing to do with us. I don't know a single fucking person in Africa. So to me, I don't say Africa, we're black.
Keep it 100.
We're black.
That
me living in all
everybody has different. I mean, like we're all the same, bro. But
I'm
like,
keep it 100.
We're not.
We have to not
Every
choose.
black
We have to
person I
not
have
choose
seen,
that culture. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
they do the same
He's
shit,
saying
bro.
Being a thug is a culture.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
He's saying, what should we choose?
That is, so culture is a culture.
Yes. And he's saying, what should we choose? I just use Michael B. Jordan and them and all those people I named as because they're good examples of what you could be other than that. Yeah. But you know, there's other people you could be like. It's plenty of black dudes that's working 9-to-5 jobs as executives at companies and things like that. We need to celebrate that because white people celebrate that shit. Yeah. They're like, and how do I shake his hand and meet him? Or like, because I know plenty of dudes in my fraternity in Kappa that's rank presidents, that's owning their own stuff, that give us opportunities. But you know, that's just to us because we're there. You know, if there was more black people that were coming to things like that, we could spread that opportunity.
And not so much what we should pick. I think that they get, like I said, it just gives us a perception that subculture is not a subculture. That is the black culture in itself.
Exactly.
That makes sense. And I was like,
to kill that.
And that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, and just like what Brandon was saying, like there is executives and things like that, like. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
it sounds like an asshole. If I'm not one of them, I'm not trying to kill their culture. I don't care about it.
If you're what?
I'm not one of them. They're not a part of my culture. If I'm in Africa, you think I'm worried about what? I mean, no, all my people though. So it's kind of like, you know, but like I'm worried about my tribe.
You gotta see it like this, bro. You
I'm worried about
my
tribe.
As a black man, I'm
not worrying about another tribe.
But you gotta see it like this, bro. You gotta see it like this, because as a black man in America, you are seen as the other perceptions around you. Like, so white people might go meet them and see you as that. You just said you're not that.
Yeah.
So, but they don't know that. So that's all they've seen. So that's what they see in you.
Yeah.
So,
seeing guys, Thomas Sowell and a couple of other people, but I know of Thomas Sowell, is of a role model to emulate. I'm telling you. He's such a good role model for someone to emulate. I'm telling you. Plus, it will be beneficial, guys. It will be beneficial not to be separated by race or anything else. All men are created equal. Everybody is created equal. And guys, see, the real black culture is so beautiful, very beautiful. See, if you don't know, people admire our black cultures. It's unfortunate that it's almost gone. Everything good about the black community is gone. There's nothing special about it again, unlike before. The faith, the morals, the compassion, the generosity, the positive vibes, the many things that the black community have. It's all gone. Before it was magical. Now there's nothing magical about it. And guys, if you really watch this video, the last clip that Thomas Sowell said, he said, equip yourself with skills that people are willing to pay for. Oh my God. Like, this is a real, like, should I say, this is a real motivational talk. Like, this little was just motivated me just right now. Equip yourself, like, help yourself, do yourself good, so that learn skills, do things that people are willing to pay for. God, this Thomas Sowell is really is really a national treasure. You can see, just because of Thomas Sowell, see how those young boys are talking, see the way they are discussing, see the way they are saying things. Like, I love the way they handle healthy conversation. I love the way they were conversing again. They were talking among themselves. The conversation among them is so super built. Like, gosh, this Katia family, I just love them for the way they handled all this of Thomas Sowell discussion. It was just so good to watch, to listen to. Like, I love the way they throw more light on this particular clip or this particular discussion. I just love it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like, watch, and subscribe to my channel, and have a wonderful day ahead. Bye bye.